Look at me. I'm in my glory. I have the afternoon to myself, a cold beer, and a brand new Matilda Renacer cigar that I'm about to enjoy. I mean, look at this man. He's happy, carefree, totally at peace with the world. This is doing more than yoga and meditation combined. According to their website, the Matilda Renacer is a robust smoke which will delight the most discerning aficionado. The predominant taste is of sweet molasses with notes of Dominican black coffee and dark chocolate. Creaminess lingers on your palate throughout the smoke, exuding aromas of earth and leather. My honest opinion, this is the best goddamn cigar I have ever had, and I'm going to review it like I'm being paid to do so, which I'm not. It's just that good a cigar. Hey everyone, welcome back. We have a jam-packed episode for you today. We get into one of my favorite locations, we get into one of my favorite cigars, and I make a gift of gratitude for my friend Kevin, who's been a very, very awesome human being for as long as I've known him. Oh, I also get into some carpentry. But first, let's kick things off with this.
This is stunning.
I love it. We need to have this.
Let's offer 6,000.
Is that too low?
It's as high as we can go.
Fine.
Isn't it great? I just had this one. $79.99. Get Floyd.
Oh my God, she's coming.
If we have to, let's offer full price.
Randall?
OMG!
Oh, so nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm so good. How was your fishing trip?
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
And that's when it hits you. You're going to want to get Floyd. Visit www.getfloyd.co today. Art lovers, get your first month free. Get art in your life. Get Floyd.
What the is Get Floyd?
I made this commercial for an art subscription company that I started but had to fold due to the pandemic. I shot it here, in this iconic Robin Hood flour mill in Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. If you live around here and like to take photographs, you've most certainly shot this epic building at some point. This hulking monolith that sits on the water's edge calls back to better days, a more wholesome time when things were somehow as they should be. I've had the pleasure of shooting this building a dozen times. I used the outside of it as a backdrop for a photograph that is part of my Images on Things collection. I've shot from the roof a classic Laker cutting through from Lake Ontario to Lake Erie. I've shot what's left of the old mill equipment, the intricate grain chutes and conveyors, the magical light that shines through a history of dust and grime. I've even shot the very cold and supposedly haunted basement. I've used this space to paint massive abstract art with my good friend and artist Dwayne Warren, and the two of us plan on making another mural 20 times the size of these. I've been able to do all of this thanks to one man. His name is Kevin, and for all intent and purpose, this is his mill, and it's high time I thank him in the only real way I know how, by making him a one-of-a-kind piece of art just for him. So what I'm going to try to do is dual purpose this cigar review, which is basically just going to be me complimenting this, and the work I'm doing in the shop. So this is for the gift that I built for Kevin. So right now I'm just prepping the table saw because in order to make a float frame, you're actually making 3 different frames. This that I'm ripping down right now, which is just some poplar, is meant to be the stretcher bars, which is the frame that the canvas gets stretched over. So this is me just jumping on the miter saw. I'm just cutting my miters for that frame. Damn, that's good. Okay, so this is a technique that I learned on the internet. I totally ripped it off. I'm not going to take credit for this whatsoever. But instead of struggling awkwardly with jigs and whatnot, you just use painter's tape and tape all of the ends together, add some glue, Make sure you spread that glue nice and evenly. And then watch this magic. You just flip it onto itself and tape it together. And that's enough to hold it until you can actually get it into a clamp or however you want to do it. I've done this and then just brad nailed it and it's worked perfectly. Here I'm just checking for square, because you gotta be square. You gotta be square. And to make sure that I'm square, I like to use this trick. I'll throw an actual square in there, clamp it down, and then that way it always ends up being perfectly square. Here I think I'm ripping down the outer frame, which is the pretty frame. I'm using some ash, that I got from McQueen Custom Cuts. They're no longer in business anymore. They've had to close up and move on. But Jamie was a really awesome guy. He was working with his pop all the time. It was a fantastic place to go and get all your specialty woods. You had to go with at least a half hour because you'd end up just chatting with the boys for a long time. So here I'm actually creating the rabbit. I'm cutting a section of that wood out because that's how the other frame will sit into it. I'll actually show you later in the video. But what you want to do is basically cut a shelf so that frame can come up through the backside of it and not go any further. It won't come through. Because that's how you're going to put your securing frame into it. I guess I should have thought this through. I probably should have a little frame to actually show you how it's done. I'll do that next time. So here I'm just cutting the miters on that pretty outside frame. And again, I'm going to use that same trick because it's the cat's ass. You know how some cigars have a really overbearing smoke to them? The smoke is actually very almost acidic in a way. This is just absolutely smooth and almost delightful. It's such an easy smelling, delicious smelling cigar. That's one of the first things I noticed about this the first time I ever smoked one. And I was with a bunch of people and they all took note and asked me what I was smoking because the smoke was just delicious, even for non-cigar smokers, which is always a good sign. All right, so here I'm just going through some images because I actually used an image that I shot at the mill and it was actually one of Kevin's favorites. This shot right here. This is my printer. I think I've mentioned it before. Yeah, I introduced you guys to my printer. So this is just that. It's a printer printing a photo. Yeah, time lapse it because that's very boring. And I'm printing on canvas here. I think it's Epson luster finish exhibition canvas. Beautiful, beautiful canvas. I would recommend using it if you ever get a chance to. Look at that. You can see that I've done the wraparound. And here I am at this table. I'm going to stretch some canvas. It's pretty straightforward. You start from the middle and work your way out. Fun fact, the black moving blanket that's actually underneath, or covering the table rather, those are essentially bags that I had made for my bigger pieces to bring to art shows so I can protect them. A good friend of mine, Jen Vetter, who's a seamstress, she actually sewed those up for me, which was no small feat because it's very, very thick material. But they did the number. They're just like giant bags you just slide the work into. Perfect for transport. They ended up being nicknamed murder bags, which is awkward because that's how we refer to them now. 10 minutes in, I've been smoking this pretty consistently, and that's just a lovely ash. It's always a giveaway of a really well-rolled cigar. Nice even burn. Just beautiful. When I first started making frames, I gotta be honest, I was just bad at it, and I was using like decorative iron nails. I was using nails, and I didn't realize that you can make these beautiful splines. I learned about this and was very excited to put it into practice. And a spline is just essentially a cut on the actual miter, or the corner rather, of the frame, and cut into it. You squeeze in a piece of wood, and then you shave that piece of wood off. It reinforces that corner perfectly. So this is a little miter, or a little spline jig that I built. And we're just gonna go ahead and back and forth cut out those splines. It's tedious, it's slow going, but well worth it because the finished product is absolutely mint. Do people still say that anymore? Mint? That used to be a thing when I was in high school a million years ago. Strangely, carpentry was never like on my radar. It just became something that I learned out of necessity. I needed a job desperately after a really bad breakup when I had to leave Toronto. And I got a job. A good buddy of mine got me a job, and the carp shop was one of the better places to work. So I just kind of worked my ass off to get in there, and then had to learn how to use table saws and chop saws, having never done so before. And I was terrified of saws. And I think to this day, I'm still very aware that they can do serious damage. And I think that awareness is key. If anyone's doing any kind of carpentry, always know that it just takes 1 second of being distracted and bad shit can happen. So here I am just sanding down. I've cut off the excess spline. I'm just sanding them down because you want it to be flush with the wood. This is just the inner frame, which holds the actual canvas frame within the pretty frame. You really can taste the coffee, the notes of coffee and chocolate. It sits high in the palate. It's lovely. It's been a long time since I've actually had a chance to enjoy one. And it's doing it. So I thought to match the actual photograph a bit better, I would stain this ash, and I'm just using, I think it's a Varathane water-based stain, which is just awesome because the smell doesn't exist and it dries in minutes. 30 minutes, it's dry to the touch. Not less than that, actually. And look at it, it just looks beautiful. Oh wait, I'm saying something.
Okay, so I did a coat of the clear coat and then sanded it, like I said, with 600 grit sandpaper, just ever so slightly. And then reapplied another coat, second coat, and now I'm just burnishing it with a pair of blue jean cutoffs. And this will really bring out the shine.
There I am, imparting my wisdom. Right, you get some cutoffs of some old blue jeans, and you basically rub the wood to a polished finish. It's a pain in the ass. It sucks. It takes forever, and I don't know if the payoff is worth it. See? Oh no, you know what? It is. Look at that. Look at that shine. All right, so that's the pretty frame. And then that's the inner frame, which was nice and snug, which I like. And then a step that I didn't show, I actually used a pocket jig to make some pocket holes on all four sides. And that's so that we can actually screw that inner frame to the good frame so that it just doesn't go anywhere. It will never go anywhere. Look at that ash. Look at that. 15 minutes in. Mind you, I'm smoking this like a champion, aren't I? I should relax. In fact, I'm going to relax. I'm going to grab another beer. So here I am screwing this in. Oh, sidebar, rigid, cordless tools. This isn't a promotion, like me promoting this because of whatever. This is just straight up. Their batteries and all their tools come with a lifetime service agreement. Oh, right, hang on. Before I continue with that, I painted that inner frame black so that if you see anything, it'll be black. It'll appear like nothing. And then that's the piece. Pop the piece in. Not too shabby. It's all right. I don't mind it. Now we just need to put on some hanging wire and deliver it. Okay guys, the moment of truth. After all of that, we finally got it together. We're here at the mill and we got Kevin. Kevin's with us. Kevin, thanks so much, man. Kevin's been awesome. He's let me use this place a bunch of times. It's the greatest location. Kev, I made this for you, and I've been dying to give it to you. I should have done this ages ago.
Oh, that's
it's
great.
finally done. This is for you, for all your help, man.
Thanks so much. Oh man, that's so great. I love it. You see the old lights, and then the ring gear that moves the turn head around. This is going to go in our boardroom, so when visitors come, they're going to see it.
Man, can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Unexpected. Thank you.
No, thanks, man. Seriously.
So there you have it. The story of a canvas photograph and the frame it floats in. Right where Kevin said it would be, in the boardroom of the mill that I love. I cannot wait to get back there and create some new piece of art that I'm sure I'll share with you. But until then, do something you've never done before.
But if we can just get back to this Matilda, fantastic cigar. This has been burning now for almost 45 minutes, and this is my absolute favorite part of a cigar. When we get down to this, it just tastes its best. It draws the nicest. It's just all around perfect at this point. This is nothing but a giant hug. Just absolutely lovely. All right, that's enough.